Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mythic for Operators. Today, we're going to be looking at processes in the process browser. So to access the process browser from any active callback, select the drop-down toggle on the right and select Process Browser. From here, we can see an aggregated view from all callbacks in our operation about the process data that they've received grouped by hostname. So right now, we only have the Kali host, but if we had others, we could simply use this drop-down to toggle between them. Over here, we can reissue a PS command, and it will always be executed in the context of wherever we opened this process browser from. So in this case, we did it in callback 3. If we opened it in callback 2, then this issuing of a new PS command would happen in callback 2. By default, deleted processes are not shown, but if you want to view deleted processes, you can simply click this button here and see these deleted processes. If they are deleted, they will have a little strike through the name, and you can always click this again to hide them. Now, just like we saw in other tables in Mythic, you can click any of these columns and sort by the data. You can also double click the column and adjust based off of the width of the largest element in that column. So we can, of course, right click any of the column headers, filter the column, or show and hide columns. So right now we have all the columns shown. So if we click show and hide, there's nothing to hide, but we can hide these two, for example, click submit, and now we just have our information, PID, parent PID, and name of the process. For any of these, we can click this little info cog here and view more detailed data about that process. So the data that you get here will vary depending on what data the agent is collecting and what operating system that they're running on. But for the Poseidon agent on Linux, you can see things like the name, the user context, the bin path, process ID, parent process ID, stuff like that. In addition, you can edit the comment of various processes that you have. Maybe you've identified something as being pretty important, belonging to a specific command. Maybe this is a process that you want to inspect or look more into going forward, stuff like that. If the agent that you're using supports injecting into processes or killing processes, then you can issue these task inject or task kill commands. Now, the Poseidon agent doesn't support this, but if you click this task inject, you'll see that not only does the payload type itself need to have a command that does this, but within the current agent that's running, Mythic will look for, in this case, the process browser inject functionality. If that exists, then Mythic will execute that command and potentially give you a pop-up for parameters for you to fill out as part of that injection. The same sort of thing happens with task kill. We don't have task kill with Poseidon right now, so you see there is no process browser kill feature. So in addition, let's say we want to search through these processes for a specific process. So we can right click, we'll say filter column, we'll say I want to look for my Poseidon processes. So I'll do part of Poseidon, hit search, and now we see these three processes. Fantastic. However, we have lost a lot of context about where these processes are running. You can see here that there's a bunch of parent processes leading up to this Poseidon.bin, but you can't see what they are because we've filtered down just to this Poseidon process. So to get that data back and see kind of the process hierarchy associated with it, you can click the cog icon and say, view just this process tree. So we click that, now we see that process, all of its immediate ancestors, and all of its children. So this Poseidon.bin process doesn't have any children, so you don't see anything below it. But here we can see all the processes leading up that then caused this one to be executed. At any time that you don't want to see this single process view anymore, simply click any of the cog icons and say stop single tree view, and you're dropped back out to this. Now, if you want another way to view and access this sort of process information, you can come up here to the search operation, and see over here the processes tab. In here, you'll see all the information. You can see right now we have 312 processes listed in Mythic. So you can search across the host that you're interested in, or things like name, the PID, or the tag if you have tags associated with them. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll say, I want to find these Poseidon style processes. So we'll do the same sort of search, and bam, now we see these same 3 processes. And again, for any of these, you can click to view the metadata associated with them. So that's a pretty easy way to go through and start finding out information about the processes and the data that's associated with them. And of course, remember, this data is aggregated across all of your processes. So if you have one maybe low privilege process that only gathers some data, then a higher privilege process that gathers more, it'll all be aggregated together for you to view here. So it's a really handy way to view all of this data.